What's up, y'all? It's Tim. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're just going to do some concept art for this comic book that I'm working on called Toilet Paper Trash. We're going to work on some like animal, human creatures, and it's going to be a long one. So grab a sketchbook, or you don't even really need to look at the video. Just sit back and chill, bro. That's what we're doing today. Alright, so what's up, y'all? So, we're just going to do some concept art for my comic book, Toilet Paper Trash. I'm going to show you guys some stuff I have so far. It's just a very fancy thing I've created here. Just use some, these are like backers from sketchbooks and stuff. Instead of throwing it away, why not just use it? So these aren't any named characters. These are just some background characters. This is Luca, one of my main characters. I'm not sure how I feel about his skin tone. I don't really want him to be perceived as human-esque, so I'll probably be playing with that. It's my human character, Adam. What I'm looking for is we're going to work on this guy today. This is Adam's dad. This is Vincent. And this is my favorite one I did so far. I've just been playing around with a bunch of other experimentations of the head. That one is disturbing. Oh, hi Stan. You guys have seen this before, and the final video of my 2-week fundamental thingy. I got the final in here somewhere. I don't know what I did with it. It doesn't really matter. But today, we're going to work on playing around with Vincent. We're going to kind of establish a couple more ideas of like background characters, and we're going to work on another human kid. His name is Tommy. He's Adam's best friend in my book, Toilet Paper Trash. Alright, let me get situated and then we'll be right back. Alright, y'all, so we're just working with some plain old printer paper right here. When I concept, I don't really like to worry too much about materials. Like, shoot, I even got a Sharpie in here for if I feel like playing with it. So we're going to start with something more fun, more adventurous, I guess you could say. Working on these background, just kind of like trying to figure out how they look, right? Of course, this guy here is basically doing like a hookah of this drug called spice. Spice is, it's not like a big plot point in my book as far as I've planned so far, but it does have a couple important points in like the middle of the story, basically. But as you can tell, these are animal people, right? This is Adam, right? So we do have humans and animals. I call them humanoids in my book, and these are the only ones I've done, right? So this is like a fish dude, a big old like tiger dude. Can we see this? You can see it, right? It's kind of like an alligator dude. Basically, I just want to do a couple more and see kind of how I want to approach them, right? Like, this is pretty close, right? Kind of modern day, just person chilling. They even got Crocs on. They're just chilling, right? This is probably like a gym focus. Maybe they do steroids or something type of dude, right? So it's like stereotyping, basically. So I'm just going to do a couple of them, and we're just going to have some fun, right? So, yeah, I want to talk through most of this. I'll probably time-lapse some of it. I don't know. We'll just kind of go with the wind here on my channel. At least as of right now. You know, this is a pretty young channel. Though I'm a pretty old guy. No, I'm not that old. I'm still in my 20s. Just barely. Alright, so I don't really know what I'm going to draw yet. And I'm just going to kind of go in and kind of just figure it out, right? This is first drawing of the day, so it's probably going to be a little funky. I don't know, I'm thinking like another fish dude, but do I really want to do a fish? I've already drawn a fish guy over here. You know what kind of looks like a fish? A gecko. Alright. I believe, I'm not looking at any reference. I have drawn a couple like geckos and salamanders in my life. I wouldn't say enough to fully understand what they look like, but enough to get going. It kind of feels mean. Usually when I start this, I just try to get down some lines and react to it, right? So I threw down the head shape and was like, oh, it kind of looks like this. And then I'm like, oh, and maybe it could be something different. Right, just allow yourself to, trying to just allow that response. Right, I kind of think of like defense of like in basketball. Most time you're just responding to what is happening, right? Not everybody can be Kawhi Leonard and just anticipate a play like that. Most people are, there's a word for it, but I can't think of it right now. Now I know quite a bit of people will, quite a bit of those pros kind of have an idea of what they're drawing before they do it, which I guess would be the ideal way of doing this, but I haven't quite mastered that yet. So just kind of going with the wind. Now he kind of looks a little bit more snakish in a way. It almost kind of looks like a piranha. I'll still go with the idea of it being the salamander-esque, but I think what makes it look more piranha to me is the teeth that I just put in, which is fine. What's he doing? Right, his head is right here, so I could put his shoulders back here. I could even put him up there, and maybe he's kind of in a sprawled out Spider-Man-esque kind of pose. That's kind of creepy. That's kind of cool. Let's do it, right? So if we're doing that, we're going to see mainly like a lot of the back, right? And the arm, probably somewhere over here. Let's see. Do I give him normal like human fingers, or do I go gecko, those like bulby fingers? I don't know yet. Right. But we'll figure it out. I think it would probably be better to do maybe like 4 fingers, right? 4 fingers. Maybe one is kind of like moved to a thumb, right? These are humanoids, so they probably should have a thumb, right? And the thumb is always facing in unless the hand is twisted. It took me forever to remember that. And the thumb is usually shorter. I feel like he's actually pole vaulting. He's jumping. He's doing parkour, baby. Parkour. which would even make more sense for kind of like this gecko. Alright, so if he's pole vaulting off of something, right, we'll just kind of put a line there to let us know, hey, he's jumping over something, so he's got to pick up his legs. We'd probably bring it in. Alright, we'd see maybe a little bit of his booty. Do I want to give him a tail? Tails are cool, right? Tails are cool. Now, of course, I'm going to run off the page here, but I can still throw it in. Maybe it comes back around. All right. I'm thinking of the leopard geckos. All right, how are their tails? I feel like they're a little bumpy. I've never had one as a pet. I've always wanted one, but it hasn't worked out. Just, my wife doesn't like lizards. She doesn't like any type of like creepy crawly type of things. Which hurts my heart because they're so cute, so misunderstood, right? No, I mean, I could understand to a degree the snake thing. She doesn't like snakes, right? I can get that. But geckos, they're cute. They're so freaking cute. I feel like I haven't quite understand how to attach this tail to this booty, right? Because like, if this is his leg right here, the tail kind of comes out of the back, right? So maybe it's more like that. All right, and we'll clean that up. Try to ignore it. I could do this, right? This one way of hiding things is just throw down some shadow. Now, of course, I'd have to balance it with more shadow over here, but I will here in a second. For sure. We may not even see the other leg, right? Because if it's doing that, I mean, perhaps we could like see it right there, right? I feel like he'd probably have like, if he's doing parkour, he's probably, what parkour, what do they use for shoes? I don't know. I'll just draw kind of like a normal shoe, maybe Vans-esque looking shoe. Those are a big part of my childhood. Well, I guess I can't say a big part. I had one pair. I grew up poor as hell, so Walmart shoes, or if I got lucky, something cool from the thrift store. What are we doing with this hand, right? If he's jumping over, perhaps I could follow this gesture, right? Follow this line of action with the hand. Maybe he's trying to grab something. I think I might do that. It may stiffen up the pose a little. I don't know. I feel like with this stuff, it's hard to say until you do it, right? Until you've done it a bunch of times, then you could make that decision. Be like, oh yeah, I know that's not going to work. I try to think about what I'm doing, but not worry about if it's perfect at this stage, right? I mean, you'll see me later using a pencil, but I also like just going straight in with the pen. Of course, one of my art heroes, Kim Jong-gi, would do this, right? Straight with a pen. But you could kind of tell with him, it's so calculated, right? And if he did make a mistake, right, like I made that mistake here, he would find a creative way to cover it up, I'm just nowhere near that level. Heck no, y'all. If you don't know Kim Jong-gi, do check him out. I want to talk about him quite frequently on this channel. He's somebody I looked up to. I've found out about him maybe, I don't know, 3 or 4 years before he passed away. So I've done a lot of research on him, but I still don't know a lot of his career. I just know mainly those workshops that he would do where he's just drawing this crazy freaking scene. Just straight from his head with his brush pen. I thought that was cool. I feel like it changed a lot of us and made us all think we have to get to that level, but not every professional, not every master can do that. That was a Kim Jong-gi special trait, baby. Special trait. Right, like of course some people come close to it, and there will be some that can do it, but we are all different, right? We are all different. And we got to play to those strengths. All right. So this dude looks gnarly. His head, I feel like it's getting a little lost. I'm just gonna darken it up here. Maybe he's got some little like patternings right here. Right? Maybe it's... Oh, I'm not doing very good at the patterning. I don't know. Something to help break up that space. Right, and well, I could just even darken this a little bit more. What I'm doing right now is something I've learned with this pen. As you can see, it's not a full black line. It's just kind of like a grayish line. And sometimes it can even look like halftone. It's just all about super light touch and flick of the wrist. You basically just want to kind of just do it. Just whew, right. You just want to barely let the brush touch, and it definitely helps when there's less ink in here. If this is kind of full, you're not really going to be able to do that. I might just silhouette this leg. Would that look good? I don't know. It might look funky if I just silhouette it. I might just add a little bit of black. Just kind of bring up these shadows a little bit. And just kind of do the same thing, but a little bit darker. And it did make it a little lost. I don't want to put a lot of detail in this tail, but we'll just add a little bit. All right. I feel like he's just yelling out, "Get back here!" Oh, we could continue with the whole spice stuff, right? Like, look at this guy. Where's my spice? I'm sorry. Don't hurt me, please. I'm not the best at dialogue, but I'm trying to get better. Okay. It's kind of just a one-man show over here at the moment, so I've got to improve my skills on all aspects. All right, if I'm going to do a comic, I've been focusing heavy on writing. Not ready to show issue 1 script yet. I mean, you're just going to see issue 1 in about a month. But I have written, this isn't me gloating, but I'm on my 3rd self-published book now. So I've cut my teeth on writing, right? I've definitely have done it. But dialoguing has always been a little rougher. I feel like I feel like these fingers I should either see like knuckles here, which I think I have to do, or make them longer. I'll just do knuckles. All right, kind of like showing that it's kind of like bending over it. It's not the best hand placement, that's for sure, but it gets the idea across. Maybe he's got like a little chain. Right. It'll probably follow the same line of action. Right. Should I put the A minor chain on there? If you guys know of the whole Kendrick and Drake stuff. Screw it, let's do it. That's funny. I don't know what the chain looks like. I just know he did it. Now, will actual real world stuff bleed into my comic? I think it would be fun to poke jabs at stuff. Of course, it's not set in the real world at all. It is set on, this comic is set on Earth, but it's not our Earth, right? It's like an extension of it. It's just something different. I mean, you guys have seen stuff, right? You've seen movies, I'm sure. If you haven't, let me know what your life is like. Are conversations with people weird? That would be wild, making it to like, let's say like 20 years old. Yeah, I've never watched a movie before. Right, in this day and age, that would be crazy, man. Did I just mess up the eye? Maybe. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. Alright, so I may have had a cut there. I don't really know. My camera, as per usual, just randomly decided to stop recording. But maybe I caught it soon enough where we're good. Let's hope so. But oh, I do remember I was saying let's do something a little bit more girl, perhaps lady of the night type of looking thing. What would be an interesting lady of the night? I don't know if I can say the other term for it. I don't know what YouTube's guidelines are, but if you don't know what a lady of the night is, don't ask your parents. Don't tell them. Don't tell them that I was talking about it. You'll figure it out soon enough once I start drawing. I'm thinking maybe maybe like a raccoon. Right? I haven't drawn a raccoon in a very long time, so alright, don't they typically have the black around their face, right? Like right around their eyes. I want to look up a reference photo just super quick. Alright, we back. I just needed to pull up a reference photo of a raccoon because the last time I drew a raccoon was for a commission, and that was like 4 years ago. something like that. It was not a very good painting. They were still nice about it. They, still paid me for it, but it was not a great painting. So I'm looking at a raccoon right here. How do I make this gnarly looking thing feel feminine? Alright, I mean, of course I drew boobs. Alright, that will do it, but you want that face to look somewhat feminine, especially with these like humanoid. These are almost like furries in a way. Alright, I'm not into that. No judgment. Live your life, have fun. Those conventions do sound pretty crazy. In a good way. I say crazy quite a bit, and it's not usually meant to like. It's just my generational way of saying, "Oh, that's cool or interesting." What am I? What's my generation? I'm basically a crap. What are they called? I'm not a boomer. I was born in the 90s, so millennial. There we go. Millennial. I'm a millennial. And I grew up as a skater, BMX rider, so some of the words I say aren't what you guys may think it is. Regardless, okay. I have no idea what the hell I was talking about before I went on that tangent. Who knows? Right now she's looking a little rough. I do feel like she should probably have maybe some like dangly earrings. Right. I wanna fill these black spots in probably here in a second. Let's get some things going first. So we're looking at her like this, and when I grew up in a weird area. When I usually see ladies of the night, they're typically holding like their purse, or whatever, their stuff. Alright, so maybe we do kind of like a clutch bag. Alright, I think that's what it's called. Ladies, help us guys out in the comments below. Is this like a clutch or like, I don't know, my wife has ones, but I always forget what the heck they're called. That finger looks a little messed up. Yeah, I don't quite understand what I did with that hand. We'll just erase it, right? If you don't know, it's not always the best to just erase, but I can draw hands. I just drew that one pretty wrong. Ooh, maybe instead of like, clearly there's going to be a lot of like furry creatures in this, right? Mammals. Maybe so instead of tattoos, maybe they get like shaved tattoos, right? So what if she had like a heart, right? So I don't know how I would even represent this. Maybe just kind of like this. Alright, I just kind of got like, let me just do that. Alright. I think I put the boobs a little too far down. Alright, don't they? They typically start around the armpit area. This heart does not look like a heart. Alright, I decided it's time to fill this area in. This will help make it clear that this is a raccoon. As you can see, I haven't quite got that light touch trick down yet. Of course I did it decently well up here, but in like a tight area like this, it's sometimes a little hard. You gotta just really like throw it, right? Just really go with it. So I'm looking a little bit more dog looking, which I guess is fine. I mean, a raccoon, right? Raccoons are canines, right? Or are they felines? I want to assume they're canines. Canidates, right? If you guys know the taxonomy, most of these little furry guys are split into Canidae and I always forget to say the feline one, but it's like Felidae or whatever. And there's some weird ones, right? Like the hyena is technically a cat, right? If you want to break it in simple terms like that, it's not as simple as that, but they are felines, which has just always been so weird to me. I'm like, wait, what? But that's what science has said. Right? Well, bears are, maybe she's got a crop top. Do raccoons have belly buttons? I don't think so. I mean, I know they got like, I've given her boobs, so I guess I could just, I don't know, we'll just leave that spot open. But what bears are canines, stuff fascinates me. And I spent most of my college career wanting to be a creature designer, so I spent a lot of time just focusing on animals and learning all about that stuff. And it's very cool, y'all. Animals are wonderful. If I didn't do, like, if art doesn't pan out for me and I eventually just fail and have to give up and move on, I'm doing something with animals. 100%, because I love animals. How tall should I make her? I feel like she'll probably have slides on. Might as well. She don't gotta run her protectors not too far away. No idea how many toes the raccoon has. I want to assume probably 4. Probably 5. I mean, they are a mammal. So it's hard to tell because some have 4, some have 5, some have 3. When you look at like hoofed animals, some are like single and some are single toed like the horse. Some are double toed, or what are they called? Even toed. You got the even toed and the odd toed, which is weird. It's interesting. You could classify them by how many toes you got. So does that make a human with 4 toes something different? That'd be wild. She feels more innocent looking. Which, I mean, is fine. I could make her feel a little bit more lustrous that is not the term I was looking for. I guess I was thinking more lustful, but like more sexy, right? Which usually you can just do with the eyes, right? Give her some thick not eyebrows, eyelashes, right? We're gonna darken up this nose. A big inspiration for a lot of these humanoid animals is Bram Revel. If you've watched any of my 2-week fundamental stuff, at least the past 4 videos I've done, I've definitely mentioned him at least once. He did he did a couple one-shots with the Jenica 5th Turtle character. And I think and pretty much all of them, if I'm not mistaken, they all have these like animal people. And like, I'm not trying to like rip him off. It largely just serves the story more. I wanted this divide, and I wanted to just kind of be able to flex my creature design skills, right? I mean, like, look at this guy. This guy was so fun to draw, right? Like, so I'm probably going to get a lot of those like accusations, unfortunately. Oh, you stole from Bram. But I guess that's just the nature of creativity. And what, at this point, everybody be stealing nowadays, right? We got all these damn AI companies stealing from us. I'm not saying it's okay. I'm just saying it's all going around. But no, I'm not trying to take away from Bram. If anything, read his book over my book any day of the week. His stuff is incredible. But I feel like a lot of people have done animal stuff, right? What was it? There was an old book for my generation. I think it's called like Animorphs or something. You'd usually see them with like the Goosebumps series. Somebody in the comments will hopefully let us know. I believe they're called like Animorphs or Zoomorphs or something. That was the first time I ever seen it. I was like 10 years old. I'm like, what the heck? This looks cool. This dude turned into a cat. And now when I look back on the covers, I'm like, ew. I was one of those judge a book by its cover kids. I would have my mom buy all these books at the thrift store. We spent a lot of time at the thrift store. We were poor. Thrift store. And I would never read them. I would just look at the art, like, oh, that's cool, and put it away. I wish I could say I drew a lot as a kid, and I mean, to a degree I did, but I never even considered it a thing that I could go for until I was 23 years old. That's when I made, at first it felt calculated, but when I look at it, it was kind of the rash decision to leave my warehouse job of UPS and start my journey in the art world. I don't regret it at all. I didn't plan accordingly. I should have stayed there a little bit longer and got some money, because I was making a good amount of money at that place. The job was rough. There were some pros, but it was just nothing but heavy lifting. I was a loader, so basically I would load these semi trucks full of boxes stack it from floor to ceiling, and once the trailer was done, they would hook it up to a truck, take it away, and bring in another one. And I'd fill just trailers all day long. I eventually was able to move up to a little bit of a better position. It's all based off of seniority at that place. It's a union, so like those with seniority kind of get to choose what they want to do. And I was 3 years in. I was finally able to get a sorting position. It just kind of meant like I sent all the boxes to the places they were supposed to go. So I had to learn like a lot of numbers, a lot of area codes. It was interesting. I feel like I'm just jumping around on this page. I need to make a clear separation that this is a shirt and then this is fur. Maybe I do like a bigger scratchy. I might just shadow this whole thing. I think that'll be fine. But yeah, we had to learn so many area codes, and they had to go to specific places. It was all like color coded, like blue, yellow, blue, red. It was a interesting life. Not an ideal one for myself. But I still got a couple of friends that are there, and I'll tell you what, man, and ladies, they are doing pretty good financially. You know, they're not making hundreds of thousands of dollars, but they're making a comfortable living for Ohio. We'll just put it that way. I did also work at FedEx for a year. I don't really remember my time at FedEx that much, honestly. It was kind of a blur. Sorry, I needed a drink. But yeah, FedEx was similar. Higher pay, but not as much benefits. And I will say, at FedEx, there was a lot more diversity in like gender. UPS, it was just a sausage party. I think there was one female that worked in the entire warehouse on my shift. But at FedEx, there was. All right, so we are now back. Had to take a little break. So I think I'll do one more of these like humanoid creatures. And this one, I'm thinking like a DJ. Let's do like an octopus DJ. I'm sure that's been done before. But it sounds fun. It sounds challenging. I definitely will need to get some reference of an octopus. Or just something standard. It doesn't really matter to me. I could even use this. I don't really care. Just show me what octopus, general idea of what it looks like. That's when you're changing and distorting it so much at this point. Yes, knowing some of the nitty-gritty details will make it better, but this is just the sketch, y'all. We just out here playing around. Alright, like most of these side characters are not actually going to be in here. This is just idea generating. Alright, just trying to figure out how I would like to go about designing these background characters. Alright, so what's a DJ do? Right, they got like the turntables in front of them. I have no idea how to draw a turntable, but I'm gonna assume since it's an octopus, right? Maybe he's got like The turntables. It reminds me of the Office quote, how the turns have tabled. Oh, if you watch The Office, let me know what you think down below. I enjoyed it. It was good, like just sitting down, no idea what to do. Let's just watch this show, right? It was like a comfort show, basically. All right. I have a DJ friend who works at Cane's with me. I don't actually know too much about his profession, I guess you could say. I just know he DJs. At Cane's there's kind of like a lot of interesting people that I work with who are on the grind for different things. Pretty much my best friend is what I consider him. I mean, I have my son call him Uncle. His name is Tay. He's a rapper. He goes by Tay the Kid. KHID. Don't play with me. Okay. He's on Spotify, YouTube, whatever. But he makes music. Then we actually just got this newer person. His name is Mike. He makes beats. I need to send him some stuff. He's gonna make me an intro beat, which is gonna be fire. I'm excited for that, y'all. Little intro beat. No idea what I'm thinking, but right now I'm just kind of going about this general vibe of stuff, so maybe we're just rolling with that, right? Just rolling with the simple vibe. Chill, right? Well, there's some other beat makers at Cane's, but I haven't actually listened to any of their work. I mess with Mike much more than I do the other ones. Not to say I don't like them, but like, Mike's the homie. I believe his tag or creator name is Logic the Guy. I don't know where you could find his stuff if you were interested about him. He's only sent me beats like through an email, pretty much. He sent Tay some. We were listening to them. They're pretty cool. They're somewhere J. Cole-esque, whoever does J. Cole's beats. Similar to that in some way. Which is fine with me, because I like J. Cole. I'm so happy he backed out of that whole Kendrick stuff. Because, oh boy, we all saw what Kendrick did. I would hate to see whatever dirt may get pulled out on J. Cole. I feel like everybody's got dirt, right? And it's best to leave it hidden. Not everybody needs to know everything, right? This dude looks funky. I try to make it where he's like pulling the mic, well, not the mic, the headphone off. It doesn't quite feel like it. Kind of. Maybe if I do like that, right? And this dude's in the zone. I wonder, can the octopus skin accept tattoos? Can it accept ink, right? Like, would it stay? I mean, in this world, you could probably say yes, right? I mean, it is my world. It's whatever the heck I want to do. Right, I got freaking a DJing octopus. I can do whatever I want to do. That's kind of why I went this route. Is yes, I'll have my more grounded human characters and human conflicts and stuff, and I'll bring some of that human nature into these animals. But I wanted a world where I could have fun, right? I could tell something serious while also having something comical happening, right? Perhaps, I guess I could say my guiding star is I Hate Fairyland by Scotty Young. That is definitely, I definitely realize I can do some of the things that I want to do. Right, like he was able to do some crazy stuff in there. And is it inspiring? Now, of course, my style and my writing is going to be nowhere near the level of his. I mean, dude's wrote like Deadpool stuff. He's done stuff from Marvel and DC. Scotty Young has, he's definitely a pro, and I call myself a semi-pro. Right, I've had some months where I was able to pay the bills with art money. But most months it's pretty much nothing as of right now. Which is the world that I've chose. I wouldn't change it at all because I love this shit. I love the fact that just maybe a couple minutes ago there was not this DJing octopus like this out there, and boom, I just made him, right? Like, that was cool. It was cool just making what's on my mind. That was one reason like at UPS I was so depressed. Thought about some pretty dark stuff during that time, y'all. And I figured out why. It's because I wasn't getting all this like stuff out of me, right? I had things that I needed to process, right? I've got immense family trauma. Immense family trauma. And I had no way to like get it out of my system. And then I realized once I started getting it out of my system, oh my gosh, there's so many things that I just want to do with art. I'm thinking this is like either a keyboard or a digital screen. It's probably better if it's a keyboard. Alright, so I'll just kind of thicken up the bottom a little bit to make them pop out. Didn't work, kind of. Maybe I'll throw a little bit of vertical lines, that might help a little bit. So, I don't know if I'm going to get too far into the other character stuff I was wanting to do in this video. I don't even know if I'll record it for another, because I don't know. But we're probably approaching almost an hour, and I'm not too scared about it now because one of my videos here on the YouTubes was an hour and a half long, and it actually got the most interaction I've got out of any of them so far. Of course, I'm saying this before my next two videos come out, so we'll see about them. But that, That's cool because it shows some people are down to just like sit down and hang out while I blabber about random shit. So that's cool. I really like this guy. I really like that I gave him a mustache too. Right? It doesn't make sense for an octopus to have a mustache, but it made sense for him to have a mustache. That's for sure. The only thing I need to fix is just get some separation between his head and this band. Right? And of course I didn't do that super well. It should actually probably be longer. Right? If it's supposed to come over here, I mean, I can still do it, right? Like, do it on the fly. I don't know how well that works, but why not try it? All right, this is just a sketch that took me about 10 minutes. Well, the camera says 13 minutes, but I'm gonna say 10 minutes because I'm cutting out some of the beginning. But yeah, for what? Not really knowing what a DJ table looks like. I know it has buttons and switches and discs and stuff. Right, did I draw all the legs? I don't think I need to. Right? I don't think I really need to. Well, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we'll just say boom, he's standing on 2. I'm thinking of like jewelry. Like, could I throw any bling on this dude? I don't know. Because he don't have ears. I mean, maybe he's got. Maybe we say there's a nose right there. Even though anatomically, his mouth's not even supposed to be there. But damn it, this is my world and we're just living in it. So maybe he's got a little nose ring. Right. That contrast right there kind of changes the dynamic a little bit. I feel like I need to balance it. Right. Balance it some more. Kind of. Okay. I went quiet there for a moment. I just kind of got zoned in, I guess you could say. We could give him some like little wrinkles. Yeah, I think that would be good. Alright, what we at? We're at probably almost at an hour. So, okay, so these are some more background characters, right? These were digital sketches, but similar process to a degree. Man, I don't really like that dark mark by his eye. We can kind of get rid of it a little bit. Right. Just a little bit. Soften it. Okay. It's a little better. I mean, I could get the white out and completely get rid of it, but I'm not really too stressed about it. Alright, so we're going to switch gears and go from humanoid to human. And we're going to look at this guy here. So, this is me searching for. He's a father figure. His name is Vincent. This is Adam. Vincent is his dad. These are part of the 1%ers. Vincent is basically like a Secret Service agent for the president. The governmental structure is a little different than our world. Oh, my camera is about to die. Oh my gosh. Okay, cut. Alright, so I had to cut due to battery reasons. Again. I guess we was getting to talk about Vincent, right? So this is the sketch that I really like, right? Like all these are kind of similar. This one looks perhaps the most like him as well. But I'm trying to just I'm exploring a little bit more, but I'm also interested in doing him some more. Well, these are some other ones after I've kind of like figured out how I like to do him. Oh, that sounded wrong. How I like to do him. Believe it or not, y'all, this one right here is with a Sharpie. It wasn't the Sharpie I grabbed. I don't know where it went, but it was kind of dried out, which was sick. I was able to, if I pressed hard enough, to get kind of a solid black line, but most of the time I was just these like light gray, which was really cool. Believe it or not, this one was the last sheet I did, just kind of exploring sometimes strange shapes. Just trying to like play with it some more, see if stretching or squishing, caricaturing, right? Like I took a class, well, I guess I can't say it was a class, it was online. You know how those things are, right? The whole online class thing. Who was it? It was Aaron Blaze. So if you don't know who Aaron Blaze is, my camera moved a little bit. Okay. Aaron Blaze, animator. He worked at Disney for some time. He worked on some of the movies that my generation grew up and loved. Lion King, Beauty and the Beast, whatever. I mean, if you've been around the YouTube, you definitely have seen or heard of him. But he had a flash sale on one of his like creating character classes, and it just changed my whole perspective on like human characters, right? Because I was just so used to doing like, right, like this is Bruce Willis right here, trying to do like realistic things, but inside of who I am, I'm not necessarily a true to realism kind of person, right? Like I'm more like a stylized realism, I guess you could say. Comic book is basically how you could summarize it. And it just kind of changed the way I thought about things. And it was pretty dope. I don't remember the exact name of the class, but it was enjoyable. Right? I'd say the classes with him are pretty cool. Again, it's not really a class. It's like pre-recorded stuff, and it is set up like a class, but you're not like getting feedback from him or anything. I always do those options because I'm poor. I can't give, I'm thinking of schoolism numbers. I can't give you $1,000, right? I can't do that right now. But I could give you $20-$30, right? And yes, that $1,000 would probably be worth it to just get individual specific feedback. But if you can't afford it, you can't afford it, right? There's some ways I circumvent that, right? Like, I learned this trick from this book. I think it was from this book. I always can't remember if it was from the book or if it was from their podcast, but his name is Will Terry. The podcast is the 3-Point Perspective podcast with it's Will Terry, Jake Parker, who created Inktober, and crap, I forget who the other guy is, and I feel bad about it because I love his approach to everything. But regardless, that I picked up his book, It's What They Don't Teach You in Art School, and he was talking about surrounding your work, like putting it in the middle, right? Take your best artwork, put it in Photoshop, put it in the middle, and surround it by all the pros that you look up to, right? And make sure they're pros, right? Make sure they're professionals, right? They're making their living off of it, because if that's your goal, right? Not everybody's goal is to make their living off of art. But if that's your goal, surround yourself with the people who have achieved that goal, right? And that just makes a whole lot of sense, right? In art school, sure, I was taught by quite a bit of people who did achieve that goal, who are still achieving that goal. Most notably, Dustin Panzino. He's a big convention artist, but he's also done like Magic cards, Lorcana cards, done some stuff with Blizzard. But he was an adjunct. Most of the people who were out there doing it were adjuncts. All the full-timers who you would usually have for all your like main classes, they're a full-time professor. They're not a full-time artist, right? Like, yes, they have done it, but like, I'm not knocking on them, because one of them was my favorite professor, but it's just different. It's different feedback, it's different critique. So getting something from, if you can have access to somebody who is doing this stuff, that can change the game for you. But if you don't, like for me, I'm bad at keeping up with people. One of my biggest flaws that I'm trying to work on, actually, I don't really have access to those pros anymore. And I have to get creative with my own feedback, right? Like, you guys hear me live critiquing my own work while I'm doing it. And that's not something I just naturally did, right? You have to, first off, learn what the hell you're even looking at, which I know sounds a little bit tough, sounds a little harsh, but it's true, right? Like, if you hold up the pros' work compared to yours, if you're really looking, you will see the differences, and that can be worth its own art class right there, right? I'd say maybe that if you really take notes and actually study it, that could maybe be a semester worth of one class for free. So think about that, for all the people who are like me, trying to just make it out here. Of course, going to conventions and stuff is also another thing. Dustin told me, going to a convention is worth more knowledge than a full school year at art school. And, me being young, dumb student, I didn't believe that shit. I was like, nah, you tripping. Until I tabled at my first convention. I tabled at GalaxyCon here in Columbus, Ohio. And I went around and looked at the people who had like the corner tables and stuff. And oh my gosh, I felt like a little ant. It humbled me to a great degree, but I also learned quite a bit from it, man. It was pretty dope. It really is worth it. You don't have to table at it to get the same experience. But the pro to tabling at it at a convention is those times when the crowd is not there, right? So at least at GalaxyCon, we had a setup day where it was Thursday. The convention wasn't open to the public Thursday. And the people at the corner booths, it probably took the entire time for them to fully get set up. So you could just go in there and just talk to them and show them some stuff, ask them questions. And that's what me and my homie Josh Myers, what we did Inking Under Pressure together. Done quite a bit of things together. That's my homie right there. But that's what we did. We just went around and just talked to people, and that gave me so much information. I actually spent most of this year just starting the, building blocks to work on the things that I've learned from there. Especially like rebranding, like check out my website, give me feedback, what you think. I try to make it feel more professional, feeling more me. I kind of like this dude. He doesn't feel as agenty as this guy, right? This guy feels more heroic. Just slightly. Perhaps it's that Superman looking chin. But this guy feels single dad. That's kind of the vibe of Vincent, is he's single dad. Yes, he's secret agent, but I've looked at photos of secret agents. They honestly kind of just look like normal-ish guys. Honestly, they don't really have a look per se, except for most of them are bald. Definitely the haircuts had a look. But shit, where was I? I redid my entire website. So of course, for all you newcomers, you did not see the previous version of my website, but you can see where I'm at now, and I think it's good. I want it to feel more homey, and not me just trying to like shove products down your throat, which I'm still trying to work on how to approach that whole thing. Business is something entirely different. It's a whole different skill set you gotta learn. I kind of like this. I feel like what is different about him, he's kind of got a smaller head, not as wide. And with this one that I really enjoyed up here, right, if we compare, of course this is a 3/4 angle, but he's a little bit more rounded. Doesn't have as far down as a chin. Perhaps that's something I keep on exploring. I want him to kind of look a little messy, because again, he is a single dad, and as somebody having a kid, I'm not a single dad, I have my wife, but I could understand the toll that being a single parent can take. So trying to put that into this character, is what I'm trying to do. Well, I have like no ink coming out. Okay. But yeah, man, if you're, of course, so back to the convention stuff, that's a different skill set, it's, you're making work that people want to buy and either hang or stickers, whatever products, right? It's totally different than, for example, being a concept artist, right? It's not the same thing. It may feel like the same thing if you're a younger artist, but it is not. It's as different as a police officer and a firefighter. Yes, they're doing things for the public, but it's different, right? It's different. And that's how so many different sections of art is, which is beautiful, right? And intimidating for the younger artists, for sure. Even for me, it's still intimidating because I have a bunch of different things that I want to do, and a bunch of things I'm trying to learn, and they're all kind of slightly different than the training that I've already received. Right, I was trained much more like, I guess you could say, kind of like a modern illustrator, right? Definitely not classical. They use much more live models and stuff. But I learned how to do like book covers, album covers, all that stuff, just like illustrative work that there, of course, is still a market for it, but the market is highly competitive and also shrinking. And I focused a lot of my stuff on concept art, which has definitely pushed me to where I'm at today, but that's not what I'm going for anymore. I really love telling stories, and I found that out pretty much towards the end of school, which, I mean, I've learned in my life so far, it's fine. You change, or you discover something about yourself that perhaps you didn't understand in the beginning. If I really look at the beginning of my art career, or my schooling career, this was the path I was going all along without actually realizing it, which is funny. And I may change that tune in 5 years, which is beautiful. We'll just see what happens. I made that eye way too dark. I made him a little bit more boxy, which is fine. I'm trying to explore, like, I have an idea of the features for Vincent that I want, but I'm mainly exploring head shape to really find, or more of the proportions, I guess you could say. I'm trying to figure that out. And I'm not too concerned about his body too much. Like, he could be a little bit of a thicker guy like me, or a little bit of a thinner guy. I feel like pretty much like a dad bod is probably what I'll do. Alright, I'm kind of going for the rounded. I guess I want to try to do this one, which means his forehead needs to be a little bit higher. Alright, bring that in. I do think we're going to have to wrap this video up because I don't want to do too many like time lapses or cuts. I kind of want to keep it raw and uncut basically. So I'm probably going to have to end this here because this video is probably about a little over an hour at this point. It might be close to an hour. We'll see after I cut out everything. So Vincent will not be done in this video. But we can just look at the work we did finish. Right, we did some drawings, and I really like this one of Vincent. That one I'm going to explore some more. And then we did these guys. I think the happiest, or the one I'm proud of, I guess you could say, is okay, I'm back. The drawings I'm happiest that I did is this first one, which is, I guess I just had a more clear vision on the onset. As opposed, I mean, I had a vision, I just messed up the proportions of this head. Something with the snout feels a little off to me. But the idea is there, right? That's kind of what concepting is about. The idea is there. DJ Octopus, I think it's pretty cool. I don't know what y'all think, but I think it's pretty cool. And then, yeah, we only did 4 heads of Vincent, but this one right here is very interesting to me, and I'm going to explore it some more. Alright, y'all, so thank you for sticking around. Shirts on my website, creaturesbytim.com. I got some new ones on there. They're looking pretty cool. Thanks for hanging out and watching that long video. Yeah, see you next time. Peace.